Good afternoon, Chairman Schatz, Vice Chair Murkowski, and honorable members of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs. My name is Richard Peterson. My Tlingit name is Shachya Ish, and I am Kagwantan from the Eagle's Nest House. I grew up in the Haida village of Kisan, Alaska, and I have served as president of Central Council of the Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska since 2014. Tlingit and Haida is the largest federally and state recognized tribe in Alaska and the 12th largest tribe in the nation. I am grateful for the opportunity today to provide testimony on behalf of over 35,000 tribal citizens that we represent worldwide regarding our tribal priorities and our support for the expansion of authorities within the U.S. Department of Agriculture's 2023 Farm Bill. As Indigenous people, our connection to the land and waterways is not only deeply spiritual but practical, providing us with sustenance and resources vital to our existence. We advocate for co-management agreements that respect tribal sovereignty and traditional ecological knowledge while promoting cooperation between tribes and federal and state agencies to protect the delicate balance of our ecosystem. Tlingit and Haida serves over 18 villages and communities spread across 43,000 square miles, which is about the size of Kentucky. Our traditional homelands here in Southeast Alaska. The management of traditional and indigenous lands and waters is crucial to maintaining our way of life and is an expression of our sovereignty. Our shared ancestral lands and waters provide incredible opportunities for indigenous-led, large-scale collaborative projects that can connect and restore the lands, waters, and wildlife that are the foundation of our cultural existence and our economic welfare. Tlingit and Haida strongly supports the 2023 Farm Bill policies that can positively impact tribal self-governance and co-management opportunities, as well as economic development opportunities to sustain present and future generations of Alaska Native peoples. Tlingit and Haida recognizes and is grateful for the incremental steps that have been made through the Southeast Alaska Sustainable Strategy, for example, but current agreements are limited in scope for both tribes and the USDA. First and foremost, the expansion of 638 and self-governance authorities is both an opportunity and an obligation for the federal government. As you know, the federal government has fallen short in implementing its trust responsibility to adequately address the unique challenges and opportunities faced by Indigenous communities, particularly here in Southeast Alaska. Self-governance and the co-management that can go hand in hand with it are not gifts to the tribes. They are a recognition that the federal government cannot and does not have the right to tell our history upon our homelands or to shape the future of this place without us at the table. I'd like to take a brief moment and share a personal story. Here in Juneau, we have the Mendenhall Glacier. The glacier is operated under the Department of Agriculture and receives over 1 million visitors each year for tourism. And while there on a funding tour with both federal representatives, state representatives, and municipal representatives, along with philanthropic groups, when asked where's the Tlingit people recognized here in this visitor center, the staff responded that the Tlingit didn't have anything to do with the glaciers. Now that I can tell you that's incredibly offensive because my own clan and many others have migration stories. Our history is told about us traveling over, under, and through the through the glaciers. And that's even substantiated now in Western science when the remains of a man were found and dated back nearly 10,000 years and DNA tested to find living Tlingit relatives here now today. So our history is very important and a part of this landscape. And with that said, Tlingit and Haida is actively pursuing co-management of the Mendenhall Glacier Recreation Area and Visitor Center here in Juneau, Alaska. The Mendenhall Glacier Visitor Center attracts, as I said, over 1 million visitors each year. And as I mentioned, there's no acknowledgement of Indigenous peoples, our culture, or our history at this location managed by the U.S. Forest Service. This is a failure to tell the story of that place and that Tlingit and Haida seeks to remedy. More than enrichment, a visitor's experience that incorporates and fosters cross-cultural understanding and appreciation of our heritage and the rights to tell that story and promoting indigenous-led tourism are incredibly important. Alaska tribes have a strong history and track record when it comes to successful 638 compacts and contracts. The Alaska Tribal Health System speaks for itself as a resounding success for compacting. Tlingit and Haida was one of the first of 20 tribes in the U.S. to compact with the government and the very first to take on the full measure of self-governance, nearly shutting down the Bureau of Indian Affairs Southeast Regional Office. If compacting authorities are expanded to USDA, it is a win-win scenario for the federal government, tribes, and the public. As governments, we will finally have the tools to allow us to work together for the management of our lands and waters. Anything less than this self-governance would continue the gap between the rhetoric of co-management from our federal partners and the reality of what they can deliver using existing templates. Why recreate the wheel when it is 638 authority that has a demonstrated record for honoring Indigenous sovereignty and successful implementation? Our people have stewarded the traditional homelands and waters of Southeast Alaska since time immemorial. We are the experts of this place where we thrived and nourished our people for tens of thousands of years. Again, we seek to work collaboratively to enhance co-management and stewardship opportunities, not only for Alaska tribes, but to enrich the way that the U.S. agencies operate and understand our unique challenges and opportunities within our region. Tlingit and Haida is actively working to advance our regional greenhouse program to support our youth and elders. We have traditional potatoes, distinct potato varieties that have been proven to trace their roots to Peru, which has demonstrated our cultural, how far our culture and economies have stretched. Our traditional foods to be included on the list of approved foods for the food distribution program on Indian reservations. I realize, sir, I'm over time, so I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm happy to welcome and say aloha to Mr. Davis Price, the Hawaii Regional Director of NDN Collective, Ewa Beach.